Senator Inhofe.
Let me first of all make sure you understand that I'm probably not alone in disagreeing with the comments made by the senator who is somewhat critical of the way the SERP program is put together. The SERP program, Train and Equip, and IMET have been three of my favorite programs, and I think I've been somewhat responsible for advancing the SERP program and changing also the CCIF and other areas. But what's good about the program is they don't have to go through all that stuff. I mean, I've probably been over there as many times as anyone else has. When I talk to the commanders in the field, they say that we've got anything we can do in 3 days instead of 3 months is going to have 10 times the value. So I'm hoping that you will continue to talk about the success of that program.
So I'd like to throw something in on there. It's important for several reasons. One, whatever you do quickly, the Afghans appreciate more because they understand. It also increases the credibility of the local leader, the decentralized leader we have forward. If that person can say, yep, and then produce quickly, it raises his ability to do future interactions and leverage. And that's one of the huge values of it.
Mm-hmm. But we'll continue to try to enhance that program. Let me, several people have mentioned the agricultural development team, but not really giving it the credit that I think it's due. You know, people talk about the negative things, but my gosh, and Mr. Chairman, I want to put this, without objections to order, into the record, and that is from 2007, the number of hectares that has gone from, that was in poppy development, went from 193,000, 157,000, 123,000, a reduction of 22% in 3 years. Now, I'm particularly proud of this because as we speak, we have 60 of our Oklahoma 45th in a plane going over there for the second time. And they come back, and Mr. Ambassador, they tell me the success of this story and the happiness that is generated by their relationship. So I'd like to ask you, of course, if you agree with that assessment and put this into the record.
Senator, I go first. Absolutely agree with the assessment. The agricultural development teams, to include from the 45th of Oklahoma, are really making a profound difference. We have a very good sieve mill integrated agricultural approach. Each element brings their own strength. United States Department of Agriculture, they've got tremendous technical expertise. They know how to build agricultural systems. Our USAID team members, they know how to deliver programs. Mm-hmm. And what these agricultural development teams are able to do, they take the best of the military, they have their security, they have mobility. They can get out into parts of the farm areas of Afghanistan.
And they've actually had their hands in the dirt before. These guys know what they're doing.
Absolutely. It's a great complement to our overall ag strategy. Indispensable.
Good. We want to just continue to see that success take place. The General McChrystal, I'd asked this question when the Secretary is here, and I didn't get the answer I felt real comfortable with. I just would like to have you give me an idea. You put together threat assessments when you make recommendations. Threats, low, medium, high. When you made the recommendation at 40, what was the threat assessment that you would have said was attached to that?
Moderate, Senator.
Moderate. All right. Then 30,000 would be what?
We didn't try to grade it in great detail.
Okay, it would be below that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that's, you know, I think that I would agree with that, and I think that we need to have that for our own use to quantify some of the successes. Now, for only the second time since President Obama has been in office, I want to compliment him and tell him how pleased I am. I think there have been some unfair questions concerning, in this meeting, concerning the end game, because I was upset with the end game until West Point. And in West Point, the speech that he made, and I'm quoting right now, the last thing he said in terms of that, just as we've done in Iraq, we will execute this transition responsibly, taking into account conditions on the ground. Now, he said that. That's not you saying it. I know both of you agree with that, but that's the President saying it. And to me, that means that the ground, the conditions on the ground, are very important in any decisions made. It's not a calendar decision. It's a condition. Do you agree with my interpretation of that?
I do, Senator.
Yeah, well,
I do as well, Senator.
okay, and the same thing, you had made the statement, General McChrystal, we are in this thing to, well, actually it was Secretary Gates, he said, we're in this thing to win. We tend to partner for a long time to come. In keeping in mind, there will be troops over there for a long, we still have troops in Bosnia and Kosovo and some of these other places. But he said, we are in this to win. Would you define win?
Absolutely, and I absolutely agree with the Secretary. I would define winning as when we have our partners in Afghanistan, the government and the Afghan National Security Forces, to the point where they can defend their sovereignty with very limited help from the outside. Obviously a strategic partnership, but they can take this strong lead. What that then does is it allows them to enable the people of Afghanistan to build the nation, to shape their lives as they want to do that.
That's good. You agree with that, Mr. Ambassador?
Senator, I would say that it's very similar to what General McChrystal outlined. The government of Afghanistan has the capacity to take responsibility for its own security. The Taliban's been degraded to levels that are manageable by their own security forces. Most important, Al-Qaeda is prevented from regaining safe havens inside of Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Ambassador, the last time you and I talked, you were in uniform, and I just compliment both of you on the great job that you're doing. Lastly, because my time is about to expire, is the people are talking about the non-U.S. Participants. We're going to try to, the plan is trying to get to that 7,000 figure. We now, as I look through this thing, and I have a breakdown at my request I got, Italy and Georgia are both at 1,000. All the rest of them, Poland, the rest are way below that, considerably below that. And that, if you add them all up, that's 4,300. That was my math, so I might be wrong on that. To get to 7,000, what can you do now? Is there any obvious thing you can do that you haven't done before? Because I know the effort has been there before, but is there something that's open to us now that wasn't there before? Perhaps one suggestion is that when the President made his commitment, he first called the heads of state of our NATO and other allies over there, and I think that perhaps that might have changed their enthusiasm for sending troops and participating. What do you think?
Senator, I believe our level of clear commitment on the part of the United States is a big part of the calculus. I think another thing we can do is we can encourage our partners to contribute where they can most effectively. What I'm doing is asking for additional help in the training realm.
Yes.
Initial entry training and partnering, because in some cases that fits very, very well with what partners can provide.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree that the statement, that the fact that the President called these other heads of state and told them what he was going to say and what he's going to do was helpful?
I certainly do, Senator. Secretary Clinton, as you know, several days ago with General McChrystal and I in attendance was at the Foreign Ministers Conference of NATO, and this was the first Foreign Ministers Conference of NATO in Brussels since the President made his West Point speech. And I think all of our sense was the reception there with General McChrystal's articulation of the strategy, understanding of what our way ahead was. It seemed to resonate well, so we left Brussels with some confidence.
That's good. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.